I told you that a 4th century preacher had more to say about wealth inequality than most modern economists, and that his solutions were so radical they got him exiled from Constantinople? We're not talking about feel-good platitudes or vague charity appeals. We're talking about systematic economic analysis that cuts to the heart of how wealth actually works in society. Welcome back to Wisdom and Tradition. I'm Ben, and last video we explored how my journey from political science to theology opened up unexpected connections between ancient wisdom and modern challenges. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most urgent contemporary issues, economic equality. And our guides are going to be the early church fathers, particularly John Chrysostom, who developed frameworks for thinking about wealth and justice that are frankly more sophisticated than most of what you'll hear in today's economic debates. Now, before you think this is going to be an ancient history lesson, let me ask you this. When is the last time that you have heard a coherent explanation of why wealth inequality matters that wasn't just political talking points? The statistics are staggering, right? In the US, the top 1% controls about 40% of all wealth. What does it actually mean just for society? How should we think about it? And what, if anything, should we do about it, right? Here's what we've discovered. The early church fathers didn't just have opinions about wealth. They developed sophisticated frameworks for understanding how economic systems affect human flourishing. And these frameworks cut through a lot of the confusion in our contemporary debates. So let's explore what John Chrysostom and his contemporaries can teach us about economic justice in the 21st century. First, let's set the scene. We're talking about the late Roman Empire, 4th and 5th century CE. It was a time of massive wealth inequality. Think tech billionaires and actual slaves with no social safety net. The Roman economy was built on exploitation, slave labor, tribute from conquered territories, and a tiny elite controlling vast, vast resources. Sounds really familiar, doesn't it? Enter John Chrysostom. He was called the Gold of the Mouth because of incredible preaching ability. He was born around 347 in Antioch. He became the Archbishop of Constantinople, one of the most powerful positions in the early church. Chrysostom did something most ancient philosophers hadn't done. He analyzed how wealth actually functions in society. He didn't just say, be generous. He explained why extreme inequality was destructive to everyone, rich and poor alike. His sermons were so challenging to the wealthy that eventually they got him exiled. But his ideas survived, and they offer us frameworks for thinking about economic justice that are remarkably relevant to today. He argued that everything ultimately belongs to God, and humans are trustees responsible for managing resources for the common good. But here's the sophisticated part. He didn't just make this a religious argument. He showed how this principle works economically. Chrysostom pointed out that wealth comes from community resources, natural resources, human labor, social infrastructure. Therefore, extreme accumulation represents a kind of theft from the community that created that wealth. Listen to this quote from his sermon on Matthew. Not to enable the poor to share in our goods is to steal from them and deprive them of life. The goods we possess are not ours, but theirs.